Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name's Ali and I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 65-year-old semi-retiree trying to do the best with what I've got, having left my office job in the spring and until I get my state pension, hopefully in July 2027. Today's Thursday and it's time for another coffee and catch up. On Thursdays, I normally do a roundup of the financial challenges that I've faced over the week and how I've met them, and have a look at what might be coming up going forward. If you're new, you're really very welcome. It's lovely to see you. I know there's been a few new people over the last few weeks, and if you want to know a little bit more about me, I'll link in the top right hand corner my very first video, which is called Hello, I'm Frugal Granny UK. And anyway, if you're a regular viewer, it's really lovely to see you. Thank you for those of you who caught my bonus video yesterday. It's been an interesting week in the kitchen. Anyway, let's get down to financial matters for the last week. I think I've said that I needed to get my car insurance renewed by the end of the year. And my renewal letter came through just before the weekend. And I had completely forgot that the provider that I'm with had offered me a three-year fixed price policy, and that I'm about to enter year 2 of the fixed price term. Now that was a little bit, I was really pleased because it was a great price, £199 fixed for 3 years. And when I looked at the comparison websites, I honestly didn't think I could do as well. So I'm currently with Saga that deal mainly with the over 50s. I had said to my middle son, would he like to go on my insurance as a named driver? So when he's up here, he's a bit stuck and has to use taxis, and I thought it might be a bit better if he could borrow my car. So I've rung them up this morning and I've asked them to put him on there as a named driver. And I was sort of holding my breath thinking, I bet you this is going to increase my policy. Well, of course it has. It has kicked it up to £279. So that's increased it by £80, which in actual fact is not too bad. It's less than £10 a month for a year for the privilege of him being able to drive my car. And to be honest with you, you can't get very far for £10 in a taxi now. So I was happy to accept that. And then she said to me, are there any other updates you need to make to your policy? And I suddenly thought, yeah, there are. I'm not an office administrator anymore. So I said to her, yeah, I need to change my job title. And I said, could you put me down as a customer services assistant? And she couldn't find that at all. She couldn't find anything starting with retail. And in the end, I said, okay, let's try checkout assistant. So she put that in and it came up. And she pressed the button. And that increased my policy another £20. Can you believe it? That by changing my job from being an office administrator to becoming a checkout assistant, my car insurance has gone up £20 a year. I just said to her, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why do they think that a checkout assistant is more likely to have an accident or have their car stolen than somebody who works in an office? And she says, oh, just wait a minute, madam, I'll see if we can get you a discount. And she came back to me a minute or two later, and the policy is now down to £267, which is less than when she quoted me to have my son added to the policy. So I just thought, don't push it too far. Stop while the going is good. It's still a little bit more than I think I paid the year before last. But I'm happy that my son's on the policy, and that means he's got a little bit more freedom when he's up here. So I've put that on my credit card. She said, oh, it will come out tonight. And I thought, oh dear. But it's okay. It can just sit there until the end of December, and I will pay it off out of my car sinking fund before the month ends, and then I won't be liable for any interest. I made sure I did not renew until past the statement commencement date for my credit card for December, so it's that payment's only going to be on the current statement, and therefore it won't incur any interest as long as I pay it off by the 4th of January. Right, so that's another big tick off the list. That's all of my regular bills for the year dealt with now. I haven't got any more bills, but I do have an unexpected bill, and having built up my emergency fund, I think it's going to take another serious hit. The ball cock in the main bathroom cistern seems to have broken, and I've had to put a wire under the arm of the ball cock to pull the arm up to close the valve to stop the cistern continuously filling, and I've wired that up around something at the top of the cistern that would hold the wire. So the cistern's effectively inoperative at the moment. I have rung 3 plumbers. My favourite plumber says he's booked up all the way till Christmas. He gave me the number of 2 guys who do work for him. Both have said they'd get back to me. Neither of them have. So they're going to get another message today. I understand that everybody is really pushed. I mean, honestly, it's 10 days till Christmas. I think I'm going to end up with a broken loo over Christmas and buckets in the bath. But thank goodness I do have a workable loo in the attic shower room, so I think everybody's going to be running up 2 flights of stairs for Christmas to use the loo. Anyway, these things happen, and hopefully I can get that fixed soon, but I'm laughing about it, and I'm on my own most of the time, so it's not really bothering me. But with a house full of people for 3 days at Christmas, things could get a little bit interesting, but we'll survive. Worse things have happened at sea, as they say. Anyway, so that's an unexpected expense. I don't know how much that's going to cost. It just depends whether or not the mechanism can be repaired. My loo is a very strange design, and I've never seen a loo like it. And my son said to me last time he was here, he said, "Mum, your loo is really weird." And I said, yeah. And he said, "I'm a bit concerned that if that breaks, it might not be able to be repaired. You might have to have a total new one." And I said, yeah, I've been thinking that too. So we could be looking at having the loo replaced in the main bathroom. But we'll see. I'm always catastrophizing. And but it's good to be mentally prepared. And then if things are better than you think they were going to be, then that's a bonus, I guess. But yeah, emergency fund's about to take another hit. Right, let me just see what else has been going on this week. Sorry, I've got a desk covered in bits of paper here, all of my shopping lists. Yeah, talking about shopping, this is the main thing that's coming up for me in the next week. I work 21 3/4 hours a week at a supermarket, and they have their staff Christmas discount week coming up starting on Saturday, and I am intending to take full advantage of that. And I've already booked 3 click and collect shopping trolleys full. One is the Christmas drinks, and I will be picking that one up on Monday. Then I've got another one for a few store cupboard basics. And then I think on the 18th, which is the day before the discount week closes, I've got the food I want for Christmas, my Christmas food list. I've arranged for that to be click and collected. So I will actually be going into the store and picking up stuff for my store cupboards. So I talked about how I intended to budget for that in my coffee and catch up last Thursday, and I'll link that up there if you want to know more about it. But that's coming up. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because for the click and collect orders that I've booked, especially the Christmas drinks, I was searching about online because I wanted to see when the 25% off 6 bottles of wine offer ended, because they had an end date of the 1st of December online. But I knew from last year that actually changed after the 1st of December and ended a lot closer to Christmas. And I bought my wine before the staff discount week last year because I was concerned that the 25% discount offer was not going to continue. So I held on this year, and I was right, it renewed. So while I was looking around online to see if I could find out if the 25% on 6 bottles of wine offer was going to be continued, I found a link to Top Cashback that were offering an amazing amount of cashback for a first-time user of the app for click and collect at that particular supermarket. So I clicked through, and Sharon, I'm really sorry. I really should have gone to your YouTube and gone through your referral link, and I'm really sorry I didn't do that. I was just a bit concerned that if I moved away from the page I'd landed on, I was going to lose this incredible first-time user offer. I'm really sorry about that. I feel bad about it, actually. But I was so excited at the time, I forgot until the whole deed was over and done with. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I should have. So if anyone's watching and you want to get a click and collect offer through Top Cashback, go to Living on a Low Income UK and use Sharon's referral link, and then she'll get the money. And I would be really happy about that because, you know, she missed out from me, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so Top Cashback is a completely new thing for me. People have said to me occasionally, you should use it. You know, it will save you a little bit of money on your shopping, etc., etc. And I've been a little bit hesitant about it because I've had a couple of bad experiences with cashback apps in the past, and I thought I don't really want to be having a bad experience with one again right now. But anyway, I thought I would persist. So the Christmas drinks I'm picking up on Monday, I've done through Top Cashback, and I think I should get about £15 back. But I'll see it when I believe it. I just think, oh my goodness, we'll just see what happens. But I'd be very surprised if I get anything. That may actually have been a Black Friday deal. And because I've not bought it within a certain time frame, I may actually have lost that particular deal and I may be getting less. So we'll see what happens. But rummaging around on there, I suddenly thought, you know, I really should get on the gift card, Top Cashback supermarket gift card bandwagon. So I bought a £20 gift card for the supermarket where I work from Top Cashback last week just to test it, and I've got 50p cashback on that because I think they were saying you could get 2.5% or something back off the value of your gift cards. So today I'm actually going to buy a series of gift cards through Top Cashback to use for my supermarket stock up shop, and we will see what happens. I've never done this before. In my head it's a big risk, but I don't see why it shouldn't work, because I did the same sort of thing last year when I was working at my office job. They had a employee benefit website where you could get 4% off at this particular supermarket if you bought gift cards. And that's exactly what I did. I bought 4 gift cards and used them for my stock-up shop and got, I think I saved £16 because would it have been £16? £4? No, £8 I saved. If I spent £200, I would have saved £8. I certainly didn't spend £400. But, you know, it's worth doing. So, yeah, I'm going to do that this year because it suddenly clicked in my head that Top Cashback is very similar to the employee benefit website I used to use. And when I went to collect my gift voucher online, the page was exactly the same, and I thought it's probably run by the same company. It's probably the same company. So why am I worrying about it? So I'm going to give that a go. Right, I've whittled on about that too much, but let's just put it this way. I'm now trying out Top Cashback to try and save myself a few quid, and we'll see what happens with that. What else have I done? Talking about the supermarket where I work, I was in on Monday doing a shift, and one of my colleagues came up to me and said, she said, I'm really enjoying watching your channel. And I panicked a bit. It really worries me. I was a bit worried I'd said something that I shouldn't have said. But she said, you've got it wrong about your pension contributions to the supermarket. And we talked, and we went on the app together and we had a look, and I realised that she was actually right. I have misunderstood how much I can contribute to my supermarket pension. Now, I may have misunderstood how much I could have contributed to my office employer pension too, but I do know there that I could contribute up to 10% and they would match it. I don't actually think that we were allowed to contribute more than 10% to that actual pension, but that wouldn't have stopped me contributing more of my salary to a private pension. But because I'd got that sort of cap in my head, I'd mentally transferred that to the supermarket pension scheme and thought that because they would only match contributions up to 7.5%, that's as much as I could contribute. Well, in actual fact, that's not correct. I can contribute more than that up to the government limit every year for pension contributions, and I hadn't realised that. So, you know, we had a little chat about that, and I thought I need to investigate this further. So I did a little bit of reading online, and it seems like a good idea because you get tax relief on the money that you add over and above what your employer will match. So for now, I've amended my contribution percentage to 10% just to see how that affects my monthly salary. And I think that's going to probably cost me about somewhere between £25 to £30 a month. Now, what I've decided to do is I'll wait and see how that impacts my salary, which will come in at the beginning of January. And if it's not something that I can absorb, then what I will do is I will reduce the amount of money I've been putting into my personal savings every month, which is £100. I will reduce that accordingly to match the extra that's been taken out of my salary. So say they do take £30, then I will put £70 into my personal savings from my monthly allowance instead of 100. So that's another little experiment. So I've got two experiments going on at the moment, Top Cashback and increasing my workplace pension contributions. I do have to say here that I missed the Save As You Earn deadline because I still can't really get my head around whether that's a good idea or not. But in the light of, you know, losing £25 to £30 of my salary to pension contributions, I don't honestly think I could have afforded to do Save As You Earn as well. So in a sense, I'm quite glad I missed that deadline. I threw the letter away, basically. It got into the bits of paperwork that I used to light the fire, and I burnt it. But I think the universe was trying to say to me, just put the extra in your pension for now, and you worry about save as you earn next year if that's something that you think you can do. So there's been quite a lot of new things floating around. 2 I've taken up and 1 I've missed due to my own idiocy. Right. What else have I been doing? Talking about savings, I have been reviewing my savings accounts, and I realised that I have... Oh, look who's down there. It's Kitty. Oh, dear. It's Kit Kat. Hello, Kit Kat, darling. Yeah, Mummy loves you very much. She does. You're going to go on the bed. It won't be long now. I really won't. Go and make a nest. Go and make a nest. Yeah, regular savings. I was going through my bank accounts and I realised that I have a regular monthly saver that I'm not really taking full advantage of. I think I opened it to put money aside every month towards the new fridge or fridge freezer that I'm eventually going to need in my kitchen. And I've been putting £25 a month in there. And I was just looking over my big spreadsheet last week and thought I could put up to £400 a month in there and get extra interest on that by the end of the year. I'm not really taking advantage of this. So I went on to Martin Lewis's Money Saving Expert webpage where they've got a calculator for regular savings. If you want to drip feed a lump sum from a high interest saver into a even higher interest regular savings account, you can put in the value of the lump sum, the interest rate of the saver that it's in at the moment, how much you want to save every month, the interest rate of the regular saver, and what it will do, it will tell you, and it's quite a complicated calculation because you're dealing with declining interest on one account and increasing interest on the other as the year progresses. And what it will tell you is how much you would have earned if you'd kept that money, that lump sum, in your normal saver, and then it will tell you how much you would earn if you, from the normal saver for a year, if you drip feed it into the regular saver, and how much you would get from the regular saver. And it turns out that if I drip fed the full value, I think, of what I could put into that regular saver, I would earn myself an extra £50 by the end of the year. Now, it might have been a bit more even. I don't know the exact figures because, in actual fact, I've wasted 3 or 4 months of that saver by just using it to put £25 aside for the fridge freezer. So, in actual fact, you know, if I'd had my head screwed on and I'd optimised that right from the beginning, and drip fed my pension lump sum, which I can't put in an ISA at the moment because my ISA was filled up by my other pension lump sums, then I could have earned myself a little bit more interest. So what I've done is I've moved the fridge freezer fund into my repair and replace and emergency fund account, which now has 3 columns. And I am drip feeding my 3rd annuity lump sum into this regular saver. And we'll see how much interest I can earn by doing that. So that's another thing for me to remember to do each month. I don't want to automate it because the money isn't necessarily going to be coming all from one place, because I think the lump sum that I want to drip feed will actually run out before the term of the regular saver is finished. So I may have to scrap about to find the last few payments to make that go round properly. But even if I don't make it to, you know, the full sum for the last few months, you know, I'm still going to earn more than if I left my money just sat where it is. But as I've said before, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just a little experiment that I'm doing. I have drip fed lump sums like this in the past to great advantage, and I wouldn't necessarily advise other people to do this. I mean, Martin Lewis on his website says this is not something to do if you're tackling debt or you're on an extremely tight budget. It's something to do if you've got some money sat there doing next to nothing that you could actually make work harder. If you want to know more about it, go to Martin Lewis's website, search for regular savings, and he's got a whole load of advice there about what to do. So as I've said before, don't do what I do unless you go away and do the research and think if it works for your situation. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what to do. I am not a financial advisor. So that's another thing that I'm trying this year. And as I've said, I've done it to great effect in the past when I've had larger pots of money to deal with or play with or whatever. But I don't have that large pot of money anymore. But I have got enough to think about trying to make it work a little bit harder than it is at the moment. Yeah, that's my third annuity lump sum. Right, oh yeah, talking about lump sums, gosh, a lot has gone on this week. Going back to supermarket pensions, after I'd spoken with that colleague about the percentage of salary that you could contribute, I did dig about in the pensions tab a lot more, and my contributions are looking really good at the moment. And it said that if I retired at 67 or took my pension at 67, let's put it this way, that I would have enough for a £2,500 lump sum and £580 a year, not a month, a year, which is about £48 a month, as an annuity. And the last time I looked, they were saying that I wouldn't have a big enough pot to even consider taking an annuity. So a lot has changed in the last few months, and it's obviously been well worth contributing to that pension scheme. And whoever's dealing with their investments must be doing a very good job, because the growth between when I last looked and when I looked the other day, I don't know if I've read it wrong, but it does seem quite significant. So that was encouraging, because I think my contributions are probably going to get me more than I thought they would. I thought they'd probably just give me about a £2,000, lump sum when I was 70, but we're now talking about £2,500 when I'm 67, plus a really small annuity. But I mean, even 50 quid is better than a kick in the teeth. That's another saying from my mum, better than a kick in the teeth. Right, so there's been a lot going on, and that's not all. What else have I been doing? As I've said, I've been rummaging around in my spreadsheet, giving it a bit of an end of year tidy up, and part of that has involved logging my interest on my various savings accounts for December. So I've done that. I've got a whole list of my savings accounts on a tab on my spreadsheet. I've got the months of the year across the top. Every month I log how much interest. I total it up at the bottom of each column, and then I have an overall total bottom right, and I always trying to make sure that that total stays below the limit beyond which HMRC will tax my interest. And I'm well below it at the moment, which I'm pleased to say. But I'm also very pleased with the interest that I am getting. Obviously, it's not as good as it was earlier this year, but it is better than it has been at points in the past. So that's just saying this because it's a task that I've done this week, is logging and monitoring the interest on my savings accounts. And that was part of one of the reasons I started looking at this regular saver, and could I make the small lump sum from my third annuity actually work a little bit harder. So those two tasks were wrapped up in each other. So I think that's really about all from me. So I'll see you on Saturday, and as I said, it might be a bit of a mess on Saturday because I want to do my first round of shopping on Saturday morning if I possibly can, and I want to get up quite early so I don't miss some of the half-price meat deals. But anyway, so Saturday could be a bit hit and miss, and if it doesn't get up onto YouTube until Sunday, I do apologise. But thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you again on Saturday. Pugs are always licking something, aren't you? Always licking something. Always. Bella. Oh, Bella. Oh. Is that a little bit of a stink eye? You're not doing so many stink eyes as you used to. That's better, isn't it? You don't look so stinky-eyed there. You're a good girl, aren't you? You are. We love you very much. You look just like Topsy from Bubblebecker Pugs, don't you? You do. We love you. Right, let's say goodbye to all these lovely people and get on with what we need to do next.